That night I fell asleep with the pain of my body in my heart. And when I woke up in the morning, I didn't feel any pain at all. My heart pounding as if I'd just emerged from the fire all over again. My fingers instinctively went to my stomach, tracing over the scars that had marred my body for so long. Only there was nothing. After my rebirth, something inside me shifted. The warmth I once carried, the relentless devotion, the unwavering belief in Michael, was gone. What did I do wrong? Please, I need you. I need us. His burned hands trembled as they grabbed mine. I looked at him, cold and detached. Oh, Michael, you just loved and saved the wrong person. Just like me. He blinked, tears forming. Mia, don't do this. I pulled my hands back, wiping them with a tissue. Goodbye, Michael. The fire was chaos. Screams, smoke, and flames swallowing the warehouse. Michael was trapped under a beam, and every instinct screamed for me to run, but I couldn't leave him. I rushed into the inferno, ignoring the blistering heat. Mia, he shouted, coughing violently. I'm not leaving you. I gritted through the pain, pulling him free, my flesh searing with each agonizing step. When we finally stumbled outside, gasping for air, paramedics rushed in. As they worked on Michael, he gripped my hand. His eyes, filled with gratitude and guilt, met mine. I'll never forget this, he whispered hoarsely. I'd die for you, Mia. I'll love you forever. I held on to those words during my recovery. The physical recovery was brutal. Every movement hurt. The burns on my belly and legs made walking, sitting, and even breathing a trial. The doctor said the scarring would be severe, but I didn't care. I'd saved Michael. That was all that mattered, or so I thought. 2 years later, things had changed. The passion that once burned between us dimmed. I noticed his distance, the way he avoided looking at my body. One evening, as I struggled to reach a glass of water, he sat across from me, scrolling on his phone. His eyes barely lifted. You're taking forever to heal, he said, almost absent-mindedly. It's hard, you know. Seeing you like this. I froze. Seeing me like this? He sighed, finally looking up. Yeah. You're not you anymore. You're different. The words sank deep, sharper than any pain the fire had inflicted. I tried to ignore his detachment, clinging to the hope that things would get better. But everything changed the night I found his phone unlocked on the kitchen counter. A message from Vivian caught my eye. I miss you, baby. I hate seeing her scars too. Can't wait to be with you again. My heart pounded. I scrolled up, my breath catching with each line. She saved you, Michael. Vivian had written. Yeah, but look at her now. Those scars. I can't even stand to touch her. You don't have to. You have me. The phone slipped from my trembling hands, clattering onto the floor. Michael entered, his face darkening when he saw the screen. What the hell are you doing? He snapped. I stared at him, tears blurring my vision. You said you loved me. You said you'd die for me. And this is how you really feel. His jaw tightened. You shouldn't be snooping through my messages. That's all you have to say? My voice broke. He crossed his arms. What do you want me to say? That it's easy being around you? That seeing your scars every day doesn't kill the mood? I didn't ask for this. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. You didn't ask for this? I didn't ask for this, Michael. I didn't ask to be burned saving your life. Well, Maybe you should have thought about that before running into a burning building. His words were cold, detached. You're making it harder for both of us. My chest tightened with rage and heartbreak. Get out. He scoffed. Fine. You want me gone? Don't blame me when you're alone. He left without a second glance. That night I fell asleep with the pain of my body in my heart. And when I woke up in the morning, I didn't feel any pain at all. My heart pounding as if I'd just emerged from the fire all over again. My fingers instinctively went to my stomach, tracing over the scars that had marred my body for so long. Only there was nothing. I sat up abruptly, my breathing shallow, yanking up my shirt to see my skin. Smooth. Unblemished. My hands trembled as I ran them over my stomach, then down to my legs. No burns. No pain. What? I whispered, my voice cracking. I stumbled out of bed, rushing to the mirror. The face staring back at me was younger, fresher, untouched by the torment I had endured. My eyes darted to the calendar on the wall. It wasn't possible. The date stared back at me, 1 year before the fire. No, I breathed. This can't be real. But it was. I was back, reborn into the past before everything fell apart. Before the fire, the scars, the betrayal. My hands gripped the edges of the sink as a flood of emotions surged through me. Disbelief, relief, and then a sharp, burning resolve. This time things would be different. I wouldn't save Michael. I wouldn't let myself suffer for someone who never truly loved me. And I sure as hell wouldn't let him walk away unscathed. I looked at my reflection, my gaze hardening. This time I had the chance to rewrite everything. And I would. After my rebirth, something inside me shifted. The warmth I once carried, the relentless devotion, the unwavering belief in Michael, was gone. I became colder, quieter. Every word, every action was calculated. There was no more pleading, no more desperate attempts to make him see me. Michael noticed. First it was subtle. He'd glance at me during breakfast, expecting me to fill the silence like I always had. But I didn't. I sipped my coffee, my eyes distant, lost in thoughts far from him. You're quiet, he said one morning, his voice laced with curiosity. Something wrong? I shrugged. No. He frowned. You sure? You've been different. I didn't look at him. Maybe I've just grown up. He laughed, trying to lighten the mood. You've grown up. You were always the mature one. I didn't smile. I just stood up, taking my cup to the sink. I'll be late for work, I said, walking away without waiting for a response. The weeks passed and my distance became a chasm. Michael started trying harder, his confusion growing into desperation. Hey, let's go out tonight, he suggested one evening, forcing a grin. Dinner at that place you love. My treat. I glanced up from my book, my expression neutral. I'm busy. His smile faltered. You've been busy a lot lately. I have priorities. My tone was flat, dismissive. His jaw tightened. I'm one of your priorities, aren't I? I closed the book slowly, meeting his eyes for the first time in days. I used to think so. He stared at me, searching my face for something, anything, to hold on to. Mia, if I've done something wrong, just tell me. I tilted my head slightly, considering his words. Once I would have poured my heart out, begged him to understand. But now, I felt nothing but a hollow indifference. You haven't done anything, I said, standing up. I just see things differently now. His voice wavered. We can fix this. I paused, letting the silence stretch between us. Finally, I turned back to him. Maybe you can. But I'm already gone. I left the room, leaving him standing there, clutching at the remnants of what we once had. He didn't realize it yet, but the person he thought he loved was no longer there. She had died in that fire. We broke up that night, and 2 months later Vivian became his new girlfriend. 1 year after my rebirth, history repeated itself. As I remembered, Michael and I were the only 2 people involved in that warehouse fire. This time when the fire broke out, I was home imagining the chaos. I later heard Michael had tried to save Vivian. He pulled her out just as I had once saved him. But this time he was the one burned. Vivian whispered the same sweet lies I had once heard. You're my hero. I'll love you forever. But lies don't last. I followed Vivian online, tracking her movements. She was careless, posting everything. One night I saw her tagged in a photo, cozy with another man, laughing, kissing. I knew it was my chance. 3 months later, I watched Michael stumble upon Vivian in bed with another man. The shock on his face was priceless. Vivian. His voice cracked, eyes wide in disbelief. Vivian laughed, pulling away from the man. Oh, Michael. Didn't expect you here. Who is this? Michael demanded, rage and betrayal contorting his face. Vivian shrugged, unfazed. He's someone who can give me what I want. Look at you. You're pathetic. His fists clenched. I saved you. I got burned for you. She smirked. I never asked you to. As Michael stumbled out, broken, I stepped from the shadows. His eyes met mine, filled with desperation. Mia, he whispered, his voice shaking. What did I do wrong? Please. I need you. I need us. His burned hands trembled as they grabbed mine. I looked at him, cold and detached. Oh, Michael, you just loved and saved the wrong person. Just like me. He blinked, tears forming. Mia, don't do this. I pulled my hands back, wiping them with a tissue. Goodbye, Michael. And this time I walked away, leaving him to drown in the ruins of his choices.